and start go.
Now here's Isaiah missing the shot, but we see no Laker going after the rebound. He's able to pick it up and just, well, hit a 3-foot jump shot.
Foul is on Rick Mahorn, his third personal foul. In many ways, it's hard to get the Pistons individually into foul trouble with the four men coming off the bench, and they have a lot of fouls to give. So when Mahorn has three, that's not a serious problem.
And he can play a very aggressive game out here defensively against Jabbar, knowing that there's a John Sally or a Dennis Rodman that can come off the bench.
Isaiah Thomas hits again, and Thomas now has 6 of the 8 points scored by the Pistons in this third period. 2 minutes gone by, and it's a 58-54 game. Now Worthy isolated against Dantley. Dumars doesn't go for Magic's bait, and Worthy hits it outside. What a game for James Worthy. He is coming back in multiples in this one. Thomas comes back and hits again, but he's the hot man on the floor.
Well, he's just carrying this Piston team offensively at this point.
He has scored the last 8 points for the Pistons, who trail by 4 still. Kareem with a short lefty hook. He has struggled from the field. He started with his first basket and missed 6 in a row before that hoop.
And now we see Chuck Daly has moved Dumars to the lead guard and Isaiah to the shooting guard position.
Dumars off the mark, rebound by Green. Lakers looking to match their biggest lead of 8. Scott. Dumars. Let's see if the Pistons run it. They've got Thomas and Dantley on the wing. This is not their best running team in there, however.
Yeah, that last time Dumars had no one playing him and Dantley didn't give the ball up.
Dantley misses the line drive jumper. Pistons are not taking smart shots right now, other than Thomas a few times.
Getting set up here. I'm going to try to spread the word a little bit. Enjoy some of this classic action from the '88 finals. This is a very, very famous game.
And Green nearly stole that rebound. 62-56. Thomas feels he's got a hot quarter, and who can blame him? He has 22 points, 10 already in this period, and we have only about 4 minutes gone by, Bill.
And now Byron Scott has got the challenge defensively, because that's the only one that's doing anything offensively for the Pistons.
Scott tries his hand offensively and hits. So Worthy and Scott have hit big baskets the last couple of times down. But here's Isaiah, who has counted the last 10 points for the Pistons.
Well, he feels it. He just cleared Dantley over, looking to just go one-on-one.
Illegal defense against the Lakers. That's their first call. And Michael Thompson for the Lakers and John Sally for the Pistons come off the bench. Kareem goes out. He has scored 8 points.
Now, here's a great picture. Just watch them battling on the defensive boards, just checking people out.
Like
very physical in there.
Like a pinball machine.
Yep.
Isaiah Thomas on an incredible tear. Has 12 of his 24 points this quarter. And Scott is grabbing his left knee as a Pistons foul.
And what happened there is he hit his knee against Isaiah Thomas's knee. And that is just so painful. I would expect him to be all right in a minute or two, but at first it just knocks the wind out of you.
Thomas with a foul, his second, and the teams go to their respective benches. Scott is in pain. And this is going to be a full timeout.
Now here, watch Isaiah planting there. Let's see if they go knee to knee. Yep, you see that knee? That left knee.
Thomas has 2, and Gary Vitti, the Lakers.
Hey, Pete, I'm glad you're here. It's always good to have you here. Man, you missed last night, though, man. The game I played last night was right up your alley, fam. Big time up your alley. Let's check out some of these classic ads.
You need a fourth?
Well, not really. We got a bug.
You gotta separate it.
All right, let him hit. What's the difference?
The longest hitters hit the longest balls.
Oh, shit.
What ball was that?
Top flight. The longest balls.
Not a Pete, I tried to tag you, man. That was your game. That was your game, man. You don't realize this. Basically, they could have called it Adventures of Lolo 4. Is what they could have called it.
Pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
My dad and I have owned Ford trucks for as long as I can remember. If somebody had told me 3 months ago that I'd be driving a Chevy truck, well, I wouldn't have believed them. Well, I took a look at the new Chevy truck.
Okay, so I think we're just about ready to get rolling here, but we got to see some of this classic action. We got some big-time players. We have went through the list here. These commercials are cracking me up. George Mikan, number 50. Kind of just felt like he had to be top 50, but... You know, he had a little more game than you expect. Number 49, Patrick Ewing. Hopefully you guys know what he's all about. Number 48, Allen Iverson. You know, kind of just a little bit, my big beef with him, shot too many threes. Chris Paul. Perhaps underrated as far as overall impact. But, I don't know, lack of signature moments. 46, Steve Nash. 2 MVPs, that's wild, but... That was a big moment in the NBA when he re-energized the Suns and ushered in the 7 seconds are left era. Number 45, Willis Reed. Big winner for the Knicks. What the hell happened tonight? What happened? I missed it. Someone explain to me what happened. It makes no sense. And then number 44, Russell Westbrook. A polarizing figure, but I think you have to admit, when he's out on a basketball court, things happen. Mostly positive. Certainly over the course of his career.
Isaiah Thomas with a hot hand, not that time. Loose ball, Sally. Well, Sally and Rodman, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head to watch out for those guys coming in.
I'll tell you, when the shot goes up, you have to put a body on both of those players because they're so quick and active getting to the offensive boards.
Lambeer looking inside. 5 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Cooper all over Thomas. 4 on the shot clock, and Sally with a short jumper. Rebound, Michael Thompson.
Neesmith, or was it Dr. James Naismith? I see that Grip is streaming some Tad, just out of spite. That's fine. I really wish I could watch that game, but we got to get through some hoops. We got some top 100 guys. It's multiple screen strat. All right. So basically, what happens in this game is that Isaiah Thomas sprains his ankle, and it gets worse and worse. But he gets hotter and hotter as the game goes on. The Pistons are, going for the NBA title in Los Angeles, and they're going up against the juggernaut Lakers. They're going to need all they can muster. It'd be nice if maybe Isaiah Thomas wasn't hurt, but maybe it's better that he was, because some stuff goes crazy here. Anyways, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I'm ready to get into some of these players.
That's why he was free. Lambeer tried to come from the weak side, and it was...
Hot, isn't it?
Has taken only 5 shots. Dumars double teamed in trouble. Gets it to Dantley.
Dantley's always down to put it up.
More time on the clock. He had 10 seconds.
Absolutely. He must have thought that it was down to 2 or 3 seconds.
Under 4.
Dantley.
8-point lead for the Lakers, 74-66. 3.5 remaining in this period. Thomas with a looper scores. Isaiah's shooting eye still on. He has 16 points in the quarter, 28 in the game.
Yeah, but he's limping noticeably right now.
Guarding Michael Cooper. Getting banged in there. Couple of bodies banging and another Piston foul.
Now here's...
We have some bodies banging alert. Someone don't let Shaq see it. He might start giggling.
Just steps right over AC Green.
Dennis Rodman will check in for the Detroit Pistons, and Sally leaves the game. Sally has 3 points and 3 fouls. Rodman is in, so what kind of a team? You've got a shorter, you've got to still have a quick team in there, but they lose some height without Sally.
Well, what it means is Dennis Rodman will go to the power forward position, probably play against, well, he'll probably move to play Magic Johnson. We might see Vinnie Johnson matched up against AC Green. You know, there's a lot of things that Chuck Daly might try defensively to get his team going.
Thomas had committed the foul, his third. So a bunch of Pistons have...
So I don't know if you guys are doing the math on guys that have not been called yet, but there might be some hints here. There might be some hints.
Thomas off balance. Basket counts and a foul as he goes into the first row, and he is still limping. He is a game performer. He's got to be hurting and limping, and he continues to put the points on the board for Detroit.
Well, he just doesn't want to be out of this ball game. He knows that, hey, I can rest this ankle and heal it by the time we get ready for training camp. And here's that off-balance shot. You know, Michael Cooper does a good job defensively stopping the penetration.
Thomas showed up the other day, misses the free throw. He has 30 points. He has hit 8 of 10 baskets here in the third period, trying to keep the Pistons close. Only 3 Pistons have scored in this quarter. Steal by Thomas. Re-steal by Worthy. 2 alert plays inside. That'll get a rise out of the crowd. Worthy's finger roll. Rebound Dantley. Pistons down by 6.
Now, I just wonder, with Isaiah limping so much, if they do get the opportunity to the Pistons to run, will they be able to, with him handling the basketball and favoring that ankle?
9 on the shot clock for Dantley and the Pistons. Quick double team. Dantley with a great spin move. What great abilities he has there. And it's 76-72. The Lakers lead is 4 as we get to the 2-minute mark of the third period. Double on Magic. Good swing to Cooper. Double Worthy. Now single with Laimbeer. Lost the ball. Vinnie Johnson, 3-on-2. Pistons. Rodman banks it off the glass, and it's a 4-point game with 1:45 remaining, or 2-point game, make it, with a 1:40 now.
Man, the Pistons, man, they were. This is with Adrian Dantley. They traded him this offseason, but this unit kind of came out of nowhere. You know, it was the Lakers in the Celtics world, and then here comes the Pistons, and they went for it here. This is not, I'll just tell you what happens. They do not win this game. They do not win the finals. They somehow, it's a close game. But, man, this was a hell of a performance by these Pistons with injured Isaiah Thomas and young Dennis Rodman. We got to watch just a little bit more because it gets a little crazy here. It's already been crazy with some of the shots Isaiah's hitting. Wait till you see how it finishes.
You know, the golf courses are active, and there's the Forum and its relationship to Hollywood Park.
And now it's time for the Lakers to regroup because they are not playing anywhere close to at the level they did in that second period.
They're shooting 41% here in this period. Michael Thompson is hit hard and fouled by Rodman. And for Rodman, that'll be his 3rd foul. Not a bad foul for Rodman because Thompson was close in.
Well, what we're seeing now is the Lakers are taking advantage of that switch on that pick and roll when Magic Johnson either has the big man on him or the small guard is playing their center, Michael Thompson in that case, and either penetrating or getting the ball inside.
Barbara Streisand.
Wow, Bab's in the mix. That's a little bit of a shocker.
Same as yours.
Yeah.
Huh? I thought you would have come out with that real fast.
I know. I'm
You're busy looking
slow.
at the Laker trap.
Yeah, watching the trap.
Thomas goes for 3 and hits it. What a third quarter for Isaiah Thomas. He has scored 21 points here in the third to bring the Pistons all even at 77. Nearly a minute to go in the period. It's been the Isaiah Thomas show, plus an injury to Thomas here in the third.
And Byron Scott sitting on the bench for the Lakers.
Worthy against Rodman, left-handed shot. And the Lakers, now the Pistons with Rodman. 2-on-1, Thomas goes up. And Isaiah Thomas having an incredible period. He has 35 in the game, 23 in this period. And the Pistons have regained the lead, 79-77 after trailing by 8.
And the thing about Isaiah Thomas, he's limping on every play. He is just showing so much heart and determination for the Pistons.
AC Green in the corner hits the shot to break the spell and tie the game. But now the Pistons will play for the last shot of an all-even game. Isaiah Thomas has put on a brilliant exhibition of shooting despite an ankle injury in this third quarter. He has been a one-man gang. 23 points. And the shot is good by Thomas. It is 81-79. The period is over. Can you imagine the great performance, maybe one of the best we've ever seen in one quarter in NBA Finals history?
Now watch this basket by Isaiah Thomas, but the thing, watch him trying to get back at the other end.
Announcers used to be so enamored with a replay back in the day. Watch this. We're going to show a replay. Watch this. Have you ever seen this before? It's a replay. I know it just happened a minute ago, but it's a replay. Watch this. Now watch this. Watch this. If you watch this video, it's the only thing on your screen. You'll see something amazing. Watch this. Anyway, that's got to be up there as probably the greatest single game performance that anybody's ever had, really. They end up losing the game. Sometimes the greatest performances are in an L. It's about how you stand up to scrutiny. Anyway, or it's about when you're going up against a greater opponent. Sometimes it's like that's when the best performance is brought out to see. You know that you're behind. You have to play your best. You have to do your best. Isaiah knew the only chance they had to beat the Lakers was if he went all out and gained a level. You see it all the time. So that's why I don't measure. Championships are nice, but sometimes it's the loser that really shines in these. Anyways, I think it's time we get into the countdown. Thanks for checking out the stream. We are going to get into the 30s tonight. This is part 5 of the countdown. More great players to come. Here we go. Number 43 is the big boy.
His face in the sand, not the last mafioso, I'm a MC cop. Make it say go LL and do the Y. If you think you cannot ride me, yeah boy I bet, cause I ain't met a motherfucker who can do that yet. Trendsetter, I'm better, but rhymes are good. I got a go name plate that says I wish you would. And when battle begin then, I gotta join in. And before my rhyme is over, you know I'ma win. Cool J has a rhyme, so you better make way. Ask anybody in the crowd, they say the kid don't play. Sport competition, that's my hobby and job. I don't wear disguise because I don't over my. Got a pinpoint rap that makes you feel trapped. So many girls on my jock, I think my phone is tapped. I'm bad. Cool J. Cool J. Yeah, Cool J. Cool J.
Okay, here we go. It's number 43, David Robinson, who dominated Sega Genesis games in the mid-90s. There was definitely a hot second where it looked like it was going to be Mr. Robinson's neighborhood in the NBA after Jordan said deuces. And anyway, this guy was... that picture looks doctored, but no, that was him. He was ripped. He was probably, if not the most impressive specimen that ever stepped on a basketball court. You know what I mean? He was probably the most awe-inspiring basketball player. Just from a muscle, athleticism combination. And his game was very skillful. He could score with the best of them. He had that nice lefty fadeaway jumper. He could take it to the rim with big power. And, he could pass, he could block shots like a menace. He was a smart player. He was a notoriously good guy. I say notoriously because that was what everybody thought was maybe his weakness, was that he didn't have an edge. I got to get the Pro Basketball Reference thing set up here, so let me check that out here. We got to get this ready to go. Did not have this quite set up yet. Let's take a look at this dude's page. Yeah, Dave Maurice Robinson, aka the Admiral, representing the Naval Academy. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna reveal this right now. He is the #1 Naval Academy alum on the list, so you can kind of cross the rest of those guys off. Did not play military service. Keep that in mind. Would have been very good. Comes in the league, is rep to go. He was 6th in MVP voting, 24 points per game, 3.9 blocks per game, 12 rebounds per game. This guy was outstanding. He pretty much put the Spurs right in contention, right there as soon as he showed up. And then he just kept getting better. Well, he really leveled up in '94. That was the year that Jordan wasn't there, so it really did feel like, Kevin Nash. Yeah. It really looked like it was going to be David Robinson's run. He led the league in scoring. If you remember, he scored like some 60-some points the last day of the year to make sure he got the scoring record against the Clippers. But he was 2nd MVP voting. Had Dennis Rodman as a cohort. It did kind of seem like that was a perfect combination. 73 points. Nice. Yeah, at the time, that was one of the greatest outputs ever in the NBA. But man, ran into that boy Akeem, man. And it was pretty clear who the best big man in the league was at the end of that series. Yeah, and he did end up getting 2 titles, but he wasn't really the best player. He was still borderline the best player when they won it in '98. Or actually, was it? What year did they win the title? Was it 98 or 99? I think it was 99. So he was probably not their best player at that point. Young Tim Duncan led him to 2 titles. I would say that the first one was kind of he was still a very, 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 very good player. But then the second one, he was more of a role player. And then he said, well, I guess he hung out for a little bit longer after that. But yeah, he didn't really ever carry a team. He kind of looked like he was going to carry a team. He looked like he could have possibly been a lot higher on this list, leading the Spurs to multiple titles. He does get multiple titles, doing a good job, but it just wasn't his team at that point. Anyway, kind of, unfortunately, most people just remember him getting his pants pulled down by Akeem Olajuwon in that, because they really had a chance. '94 was their year. That was, with Dennis Rodman as his right-hand man, that really should have been the elite combination. But they didn't really vibe. I think that it just basically wasn't a good fit personality-wise. Or maybe David Robinson just didn't have that dog in him. I think that's what a lot of people think. And I think that that's pretty fair. That being said, this dude showed up to work every day and got the hell after it and was one of the freakiest freaks that ever stepped on a basketball court and was very, very good. I got him here at number 43. Alrighty then. Let's do the next one. Yeah. How we doing? Do you think I can get back in the groove? It's been a hot second. A lot of sausage. Who's here for it? Let's go. Number 42 is going to be not this guy. This is I got the wrong one. Okay, here's where things get crazy. This is the wrong list. No, it isn't. Hold up. Hold up. I got music for everybody. Not all these music choices are legendary, but let's play the right ones. Shall we? I was sidetracked when I was talking to Kevin the other night. Number 42 is going to be somebody that maybe people have opinions about. This music choice has nothing to do with the guy. Almost nothing to do with the guy, but here we go. Almost nothing to do with the guy. Abe, so this should be a pretty standard. This is, it's James Harden. There really shouldn't be too much hot takes here for this. It's just James Harden, just a guy who scored a lot of points. And that's pretty much the end of the story on that. Alright, so, man, I'll tell you what. This 40s section is tough. It's tough, isn't it? So, here is the case for James Harden. The guy got a lot of buckets. He got a lot of buckets. He was a one-man show. He's basically, I don't know that there's really very many number one or one-on-one players that's better than James Harden offensively. Like, I'm just not sure. Like, if you just give a guy the ball and let him do something, I don't know if many people could do much more than James Harden. Like, he's like almost on a Michael Jordan level of offensive skill, basically. I mean, there's a chance that maybe you guys don't remember exactly what he's accomplished in the regular season. Free throw merchant, hey, I'm not saying I like his game. I'm just saying he does a hell of a job. And yes, he has put up some of the all-time stinkers in big games in the playoffs. But he has led his team to multiple 60-win seasons, his Rockets, and he has been on a lot of really, really good teams. And like even this last year with the Clippers, kind of carried them for a bit without Kawhi at age 35. Had them looking like a real championship contender. And then obviously had yet another stinky performance in the playoffs against the Denver Nuggets. And then the other thing is, does he really help your team from a standpoint of, is it fun to play with James Harden and just stand in the corner and give him space so he can go one-on-one? Maybe not. But you gotta just stick with the fact that, I mean, you have to acknowledge the fact that he's scored so many points and has led his team to so many regular season wins. The dude gets the job done. Let's look at this freaking, I think he could have been way higher. I have him down here because the style factor does hurt him a lot. He's almost like a glitch bitch the way he plays. Anyway, let's look at the thing here. Alright, so I mean, there's a chance that maybe people forgot how good he was just because of all the discourse. Look at these numbers. He led the league in free throws made and free throws attempted 7 seasons total. And then 30 points per game in 2018, 36 points per game in 36.8 minutes per game, 34 points per game. Good God. And by the way, the thing that people kind of forget sometimes, he gets a lot of rebounds and gets a shit ton of assists. Even 2 seasons ago for Philly, he had 10.7 assists per game. This is a lot of assists, like a lot of assists. So I think that his skill is undeniable. Obviously, maybe the field goal percentage isn't that great, but then you look at how many threes he's hoisting. It's a lot of threes. And not many of these threes are like the same threes that, like, I don't know, like who was really good at three-point shooting this year? Like Malik Beasley, Gary Trent Jr. Most of those guys are shooting threes that other people set up for them. This is him just making people scared about driving past him and then just shooting a three in their eye off the dribble. A little bit higher degree of difficulty. He's making a lot of them. He makes so many threes in that way that just if he only did that, that would be an efficient offense. But, you know, the reason it works is because the people are worried about him getting in the lane, drawing a foul, or finishing at the rim. Am I gonna am I really in the business of defending James Harden? No, I haven't really enjoyed the James Harden experience that much. Do I think that if you choke in the playoffs, it's important? Yeah, I do think that's important. He's choked embarrassing. Like, over and over and over again. In his defense, here's the defense against James Harden. These stats. These are games that happen. Their regular season is important to me. He got after it. And I will say his best seasons coincided with the Kevin Durant Warriors. So that was always gonna be tough to get that done anyway. So yeah, so it's fun. It's kind of fun to root against James Harden because he's kind of like, you know, he's a foul merchant, and not only that, but he sells the fouls, and he kind of like, it almost looks like he's cheating when the way he uses like the Euro step and like some of the step back stuff. Like it was kind of like, I remember one year he was like, hey, I've been working on a move. It's going to look like a travel, but I'm telling you, it's not. And it was like, I just remember thinking like, man, this guy really does not know how to sell himself at all. Like, we do not want to hear that at all. Shut up. Just do your stupid shit. But also, I will say, then the other thing is, what about the defense? I don't know. And then, I think he has had some comedic moments. There's been some fun parts of his career, and some of his interviews do make me giggle. So, it's not all negative with him. Okay, I'm missing something here. It's not that important. We're gonna move on to number 41 here. I mean, hey, it's James Harden. We could go on and on about all these guys, especially this dude. Where's my thing? Oh well. Had a good day. Yeah, In Too Deep is doing mad work. I'm a little confused. Something's missing, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Let's do number 41. This guy is an interesting one. All right. Less interesting than James Harden, perhaps, but interesting nonetheless.
Surely we'll screen out the sorrow, but where are you tomorrow? I can't cry anymore. Break away, just when it seems so clear that it's
We screwed up there. We didn't have the potted up. We gotta start this over, man. Are you kidding me? We gotta start this over. I'm just gonna give you a taste. This is the way it was supposed to go. We did not have the music potted up, and this banger is just ridiculous. Yeah, this one got sampled to death. You get a taste. Anyway, yeah. We can't just ignore that opening. That we can't be playing that not potted up all the way. All right, here we go. It's Dave Cowens here. So the contrast is just ridiculous. with James Harden, the ultimate loser, all stats festival guy. And then Dave Cowens, a guy who largely just played winning basketball, and that's the reason he's here. Stats weren't bad, but I mean, it ain't James Harden stats. So here is Big Red, aka Dave the Rave, a 6'9" center, which was still a little small in the 70s. He played from 1970 to 1980, just straight 70s. The rare non-overlap top 100 guy as far as decades go. But then he just wasn't really that into it. He just was like, I had enough fun, man. I played for the Celtics for 10 years. But then he got talked into coming back for the Milwaukee Bucks a few years later. So what was Dave Cowens all about? Basically, he just was just a guy who really got after it. Yeah, see, I'm not real too big on the length of career thing. I don't really care. If you said I'm out of here at age 31, deuces fam, that's okay. We've seen it. The rest of the 30s is like a bonus for me. That I'm mostly going for the peak. And at his peak, he was leading some really good Celtics teams to multiple titles. He was definitely the leader of the team. He was an absolute menace on defense. Had a tasty little jump hook, a tasty little running hook. Hit the glass hard as hell, and just played team basketball. Let's take a look at the stats. I mean, he just wasn't. He did his thing, man. He played 10 years for the Celtics in the 70s. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, talk about how many playoff games did he play? Let's take a look, actually. So yeah, he was MVP of the league, 73. So as you can see, he definitely did a lot of scoring, but not like an elite level. The rebounds are extremely elite. The assists are kind of wild for a 6'9" guy. They were really moving the ball around, but he obviously was very good at that. Steals, blocks, you don't really get a sense. We missed 3 of his prime years, but steals is kind of a lot for a 70s guy. And yeah, he led the Celtics to multiple titles. He was in the MVP vote. Like, he was the leader. He was the leader of these teams that were very good, but he was the guy. So, I mean, look at this. Come playoff time is when he really stepped up. And keep in mind, like, 70, some of these he's going up against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's way taller than him, and just getting after it. Boston versus Milwaukee was a bit of a rivalry back then. And then, of course, 76, that was against the Phoenix Suns. Just representing with 21 and 16, 4.6 assists in 18 games. And minutes, they couldn't get him off the floor. Despite the fact, you know what what's kind of fun to look at is there's some guys are real big foulers and other guys are not. This guy, I guess, got his money's worth. Played 44 minutes, did 4.7 fouls per game. He got banged for his buck. He was just a warrior. He was just a guy that just did what needed to be done. And yeah, he kind of pieced out a little bit early, but that's fine. I really don't care. As long as if you play until you're 30, we get it. We know what you were about. My list is definitely a little bit more about, we got one game. I want him on my team to beat your team. But the career is also a factor, obviously. So his career doesn't really stand out. I bet you maybe a lot of guys don't have him quite as high. I bet Simmons does. Because that was like the first best Celtics player when he started watching them. And I think, well, maybe people don't want to play with Harden, but if you're going up against Harden, he's going to cook you. So, anyways, needless to say, this is kind of fun to do the contrast between what's the strengths and weaknesses of these guys. these Celtics teams were really good. Like every year that he played for them, they were good. Maybe not the last year. I don't know. All right, yeah, the one game. Oh yeah, the one game situation. That's when Harden shrinks to nothing. But I think if you're ranking like top 5 best offensive players ever, James Harden might be on that list, right? Right? Anyways, here's another guy who, well, let's introduce him with some jams. Let's make sure we pot up the music.
Yeah, that almighty amazing, ill, highly contagious, kamikaze sound splash like a shot from a gauge until your body sound clash. Hit of the class, magna cum laude beats, bring the beat, stop me, flagrant, foul, rowdy, read pipe, a deep type. Disposition, keep them flipping, keep them playing they position, keep making the people listen what I spin. Put them out on the limb, got tears, got blood, got sweat, leaking out of the pen. Your fake niggas not setting the trend, we never listen to them. It's like trying to take a piss in the wind. My home team doing visitors in, you don't test them, they all standing close to the edge, so don't stress them. Now who the type built the last? It's no question the master, villain in black with no steps in my sound, hitting you hard from every direction, your head and your shoulder area, your midsection.
When the sand on down with the 911, with the niggas to grind, with King Khan, he the ground, man. Give it here, and don't say nothing, just give it here. And don't say nothing, when the team check with the blunt, won't not hit the plan, everything, cut the check. Give it here, don't say nothing, give it here, and don't say nothing.
Home of the original gun clap.
Yeah. All right. Well, Joel Embiid, man, number 40. So, I mean, he didn't have a very good season this year. He might be done playing. I understand at this moment in time, this may feel a little weird, but you see the stats before he got hurt last year? You see the stats the year before that? Let's take a look. Got the MVP over Jokic a couple years ago. Let's take a look at Joel Embiid. All right, let's talk a little more about him. He was a problem at one point when he was healthy. So this is a guy who's 7 foot, 280 pounds. That is pretty elite footwork and has a pretty tasty jumper. He said he learned his jumper he learned how to shoot from watching white guys. And somebody said, well, like Larry Bird or Mark Price, or and he's like, no, just like white guys, like just like guys, you know, like on the internet. Anyways, he figured it out. He kind of turned into a little bit of an elite three-point shooter, which is would be my biggest criticism against him, is that he kind of settles for the jumper when he's absolutely dominant on the block. But he makes it work, and he's obviously, well, if you don't know, he's an ender of drives defensively. And plays with, I mean, when he's dialed in, which is most of the time, it's really just injuries. He gets after it, and he's a leader, and he plays hard as hell, and he's going to go down as one of the all-time, like, what if guys. I just think it's been a big bummer what's happening. He just cannot stay healthy at all. Let's take a look at the Pro Basketball Reference for Joel Embiid, who basically just cracks me up also. I like his personality. Funny as hell. Do it 180. The Phantom of the Process. Big fella. I don't recall these nicknames, but I'm here for them. Player injury, out for the season. Had a good day though. At least he got to play in the Olympics. Oops. Okay, so the process. Kind of. I forgot that he missed his first 2 seasons. Man, I tell you what though, I had him in Keeper League, and that first game, I was so hyped to finally watch him. And he was cooking. He was cooking. And I just remember he scored a couple in a row, and then he went back to the bench and he was going, you could hear him, you could see him mouthing, "They can't guard me. They can't guard me." Fucking ridiculous from day one. Okay, so look at the recent seasons though. Games played is a problem. The best ability is availability, and he ain't really typically got it. So when he won the MVP, he was 33 points a game, or 33 points per 34.6 minutes per game. So like him and James Harden are like towards the tip top. They're like top 5 all time as far as a season of offensive points per minute. 34 before he got hurt last year, he was going for 34.7 points per game in 33.6 minutes per game. Shooting 50, he shoots a pretty good clip. Recently, he kind of figured out how to like optimize the shooting percentage a little bit, like really since 2020-21. I mean, second MVP. So you guys are kind of a little bit more into, you like it when your guy plays in the game. You don't like it when guys are on the bench just doing nothing in street clothes. You guys aren't here for team street clothes. Anyways, I guess for me it's just like, I'm just a little bit more interested in like how good are you though, really. I mean, Joel Embiid is way better than Patrick Ewing and Dave Cowens and George Mikan, but yeah, he can't stay on the court, which is a problem. Which is a big problem. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I had Anthony Davis pretty high. I mean, look at his box, by the way, too. Pretty decent. They're actually not as high as I expected, but he's tough. He's tough when he plays. Shoots it ridiculously good from the free throw line. 88%. His 39 games. Oh my God, I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot that he missed his first 2 entire seasons. That is that's tough. That's tough. Man, I really hope he plays again and has a couple more good years. It's not going awesome for him really of late. Also, what was his what was his last injury that he had? It was like a sad one out of nowhere. Didn't he have he had lupus or something? It wasn't lupus, but just a bummer. And then of course there's the track record of just guys that look like him. Greg Oden is kind of like the patron saint of this. Just massive dudes that run up and down the court and are super athletic. They just disintegrate typically. So that's tough. Anyways, sounds like you guys aren't like super duper trooper feeling the Joel Embiid number 40. I mean, accomplishments are nice, but I don't know, man. I like the guys that can score. I think if you could score, that's pretty important. That's like the number one thing in basketball. Defense is nice too, but being on the court is certainly nice. Championships are nice. This guy can get buckets. All right, we're moving on. We got to get through. I'm here for the takes. Okay. Next. Okay. Do not go anywhere for this one. Do not go anywhere for this one.
Heads up! Here's another one, and another one. Yeet, yeet. Why you all in my ear talking a whole bunch of shit that I ain't trying to hear? Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Yeet, yeet. I ain't playing around. Make one false move, I take you down. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. So come on, don't get swung on. It's the knick-knack, paddywhack, still riding Cadillacs. Family off the streets, made my homies put the baggies back. Still stacking plaques, still action-packed. And dope, I keep it flipping like acrobats. That's why I pack a Mac, that'll crack a back. Cause on my waist is more heat than the Shack Attack. But I ain't speaking about ballin', just thinking about brawling till y'all start ballin'. We all in together now, birds of a feather now. Just bought a plane, so we changing the weather now. So put your brakes on, caps, put your capes on, and knock off your block. Get dropped and have your face flown. Cause I'll prove it, scratch off the music like, hey, little stupid, don't make me lose it. Why you all in my ear, talking a whole bunch of shit that I ain't trying to hear? Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Geek, I ain't playing around. Make one false move, I take it down. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that.
I honestly think it's pretty close between this guy and Michael Jordan for the greatest highlight reel in NBA history. Now, in my opinion, when I was a kid, it was all about Dominique. He was the man. He just was the guy with the most swag. Like, you kind of had a feeling that, like, if all the NBA superstars were gathered in a room, they would just kind of gravitate towards Dominique. He was just the guy. Great career, lots of playoff appearances, lots of great efficient stats. Long career, played in Greece or Italy or Greece, or I don't remember, but came back once. I think he did that twice at the end. Never really got to the mountaintop or really that close to it. Played on just a bunch of middling teams, kind of like he was kind of like the Tracy McGrady of the 80s. Just kind of, I mean, maybe he won a couple playoff series. But it just never happened for him. I don't think it was his fault. I think he got the hell after it. I just think that was the way the cookie crumbled when you were in the East in the 80s. Sometimes you just ran into the Celtics or the Pistons or something, or and then that was just the end of your run. Let's take a look at the stats. They're maybe a little bit better than you realize. Dominique Wilkins was a lot more than just throwing down dunks. Dominique Wilkins. The human highlight film is got to be pretty high up there as far as all-time great, nicknames. It was just the most appropriate nickname. He might have the best highlights. Honestly, though, after this, I think it's probably Jordan, Neek. In some order, it's Jordan, Neek, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady's highlights are unreal. Magic and Bird, if you want to see some dope passing, and I definitely do want to see some dope passing. Those guys have some noise highlight reels as well. No spoilers. Okay, so he was 6'8", 215. So he was kind of tough enough to hang with power forwards, but he's definitely a small forward because he was quick. And you'll see he put up some pretty massive numbers for an extended period of time. 27. Look at this run. I mean, I think people kind of think he did get hurt in 91, tore his ACL, came back strong. 29.9 points per game in 70 games at age 33. Then the Hawks traded his ass for Danny Manning. I thought that was pretty weak sauce. I mean, Danny Manning, I guess, was kind of a potentially young and up and comer. How are the Hawks going to trade Dominique Wilkins, though? What was the big plan there? I don't know. That was weak. And then he went to Boston, and then He went to like either Greece or one of these. He went to Greece. The other one he went to Italy. Came back, played for the Spurs, was aight, and then did one more season, one more little appearance for the Magic. Let's take a look at the playoffs. I mean, look at, they won a handful of series. Looks like they won at least 4 series here. So the Hawks did not suck as Wilkins as their best player. Look at that, 86 or 88. Those were, you weren't getting out the East back then with the Celtics and the Pistons. It just wasn't going to happen. Like, I think 86 was his famous game where he put like 60 on Larry Bird's Celtics in the playoffs, but Bird also had like 50 that game or something. They were just going back and forth. This dude was an incredible scorer. I guess maybe not as, the reason he's only at 39 is because he's not like ridiculously efficient. He did get pretty good boards. He did get decent assists. He did play defense. He wasn't as efficient as Joel Embiid when he was on the court. Man, I think you guys might have swayed me on the Joel Embiid thing. I think you got to actually play basketball games to be high up the list. Anyways, he was my favorite player growing up. I was a Hawks fan. Hawks were my team. You know, my other team. Dude was freaking awesome, and his swagger level was off the chain, and his like penchant for putback dunks that might be the one thing where he is the highest above everybody else. The putback dunks, the traffic dunks. It was like the combination of strength, hops, style. It was the perfect combination of anything you'd want in a guy to throw down some dunks. He's the greatest. He's my number one, ahead of Michael Jordan and Vince Carter. Maybe not Vince Carter. It's close between him and Vince Carter. He is the best dunker of all time, Dominique Wilkins, as far as superstar basketball players. All right, on to number 38. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Ludacris 3 times in a row. Let's see if we can get this sorted here.
There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on. The man of the hour has an air of great power. The dudes have envied him for so long. Oh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune by and by. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die. Hard to understand, but a hell of a man. This cat of the slum had a mind, wasn't dumb. But a weakness was shown, cause his hustle was wrong. His mind was his own, but the man lived alone. Ooh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune by and by. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die.
Alright, so yeah, if you just watched that highlight reel versus the guy before it, you would be a little confused about this ranking. You know, it's not all about style. This guy had plenty of style, just not in the way of throwing down nasty dunks. This is the good Frazier. This is Walt Frazier, aka Clyde. Not to be confused with Clyde the Glide, but is Walt Frazier's son. So, if you don't know about Walt Frazier, it was either him or Willis Reed that was the best player for the Knicks when they won 2 titles in an era where there was lots of other good teams. The memorable title in 1973. The title in 73, Walt Frazier was definitely the best player on the Knicks, although they also had Earl Monroe, Dave DeBusschere, The team was pretty great starting five. Dollar Bill Bradley. They just moved the rock around a lot. It was more of a team thing, but Walt Frazier was extremely efficient scorer. He was basically, it seemed like if he dribbled down the court and started backing you down at the top of the key, and you didn't double him, he just was gonna pull up. He would just pull up for a fadeaway jumper, and we'd hit it. He, in big moments, when the Knicks dynamic offense that moved the rock around a lot fell apart, Frazier took over. Big games, going up against tough opponents, championship game 7s, game 6s, Frazier took over. This guy is the opposite of James Harden. Is there a big game? Frazier goes up a little. But if you look at his stats, he's very efficient, and they're pretty damn good. Of course, he's known for being a great defensive player, but his offensive game is pretty outrageously good. These field goal percentages are extremely elite for that era. If you compare with other guys in the late 60s, early 70s, it's pretty rough stuff around the league. This guy's a point guard shooting fall-away jumpers, contested fall-away jumpers mostly, and shooting above 50%. So he's pretty much one of the all-time mid-range guys. Gets a lot of MVP votes. Defense, all first-team defense, 1969 through 1975. That is a very long run of being first-team all-defense. Very few players have done that. And they did not keep tracks of steals and blocks because it was just really, really, really hard. A third of a three-point attempt per game. Yeah. Yeah, too bad. This guy would have really benefited from the three-point era, probably. He had a stroke. Sucks that they didn't keep track of steals. He had a lot in the years that he did. He probably had a lot more when he was younger. And by the way, if you get 2 steals a game, you're doing a lot of stealing. So this guy was a major thief. He was super tough for a point guard. 6'4", 200 is kind of beefy, especially in those days. So he's extremely physical. Had that quickness, but really his main game was just putting his butt into the other team's point guard, backing him down to a range that he felt comfortable with, and then just turn around and just popping a J over their face and making it. He was a good floor general, had a decent amount of assists, but the Knicks didn't really run their offense that way. It was more like just passing. Everybody had assists in that offense. They just kept it moving. So, let's take a look at the playoffs. See if this backs up. So yeah, I mean, championship 70, 73. Stats generally as good. Field goal percentages are going up. Damn, Taurasi would be fun. That would have been a great call. I didn't think to do that. But look at this. This is ridiculous. He shot 63. Oh, that was 3 games. So in an L, he had 63%. 3.7 steals, 23.7 points. Sometimes people really show up in the losses, like I said. 63% for a point guard is insane. Anybody averaging 23.7 points per game, shooting 63% in the playoffs against the elite team is insane. So this guy got it done, especially if the game was a big one. He's up here all the way at number 38. If you don't know, and if you don't know about his broadcasting career, he might be the greatest colored man ever for basketball. When I lived in New York, I got to listen to the Knicks, or I got to watch the Knicks on TV and listen to Clyde Frazier. He'd always show up. He still kept the elite No play for Mr. Gray. I mean, and it was just, it's always that. It's just funny. He's just funny. He's just great. He's like one of the all-time characters that we've ever been lucky enough to have. So, really good player too. In fact, number 38 all time. Who is next? We got some more players here. All right, this one. I'm really interested to hear you guys' take on this one. A lot of fluctuation, I would say. All right. Here we go.
Oh! Oh! Came to party. Your girl was looking at me. She's a haggler, no, I'm not tagging her, but you don't want them boys to come over and start asking you what you wanna do, what you trying to do, what you wanna do, what you trying to do. Yo, NR, pop beat, say what? That's the man with his manager Chris and the label The Jam, still flossing, showing your rocks. Ain't you dudes heard grimy, man, we stole your watch. It go Indian style, knees bent and dashiki. Strapped with the baby tech BT. Juicy at the bar, looking good in the brown dress. More than 6 shots and them things ain't around yet. Persona all thugged out, loud and clear. Said the straight henny, just grab me a beer. You see I'm reppin' now, and my mommies, I got a weapon now. Shoot at them clowns at their feet, they high stepping out. Left that rack label cause I don't like bricks. I'm like a hammer that you hold in your hand. I make hits at the white boy club while I'm buying the bar. They like, hey now, you're an all-star. They go, boy, I came to party.
All right, here it is. This is number 37, Scottie Pippen. The all-time. I used to call this guy Batman to Michael Jordan's Superman. Tough guy to rank. He obviously he won 6 titles. Was he the greatest? Second best player on a team? I don't know. He was basically that he might have been the best perimeter defender of the 90s. Just wasn't, you couldn't get around him. You could not get around him. He just put you on a straitjacket. He got lots of blocks, lots of steals, in addition to just being ridiculously good as a perimeter defender. And then could handle the ball. I mean, he came out of Central Arkansas, first of all. By the way, drafted by the Sonics. Oops. Traded him straight up for Olden Polonies. Now, that sucks, but it should be noted that they had an agreement that that was gonna happen before. Like, you draft our guy, we'll draft your guy, and then we'll trade. Still. Oops. Would have been nice to have Scottie Pippen. Imagine if Scottie Pippen played for George Karl. That might have been nice. Obviously, that's a big what if. But yeah. Also, there's a rumor that we almost traded Shawn Kemp for him straight up. Anyway, he was awesome. He kind of came in as just sort of like a raw athlete guy, but pretty quickly developed, the handle, playmaking ability, shooting ability, and basically it's hard to really imagine a better combination than Jordan and Pippen. By the time it got to the late 90s, when they got into when everybody was playing that half court, that crazy half court defense, where the scoring went down, there were stretches where Jordan and Pippen just shut down your whole scene. It was like very, very, very difficult to get buckets versus that 96, 97 Bulls team. He got hurt. I believe he was hurt a lot in 98, and famously was not able to finish that season, or at least he didn't play the last game of the season. And then, he was like the most underpaid guy of all time. with the possible exception of Sean Kemp in those days. Man, what the fuck? The collective bargaining agreement must have sucked major balls because guys were just getting hella screwed in that era. But then he went to Houston for reasons that are unclear. And everybody was like, wow, that didn't go well. You know, playing with the semi-washed-up Charles Barkley and a semi-washed-up Hakeem Olajuwon. Everybody was like, what the hell was that? How come you guys didn't dominate? I think that was the lockout year. So that was just a weird year that he should not be judged for regardless. But then, all of a sudden, he just emerged as the most cagey veteran of all time for the Blazers. And they, of course, had that super team that was like too deep. But he was probably their best player. And he played point guard. So he started his career as a major wild card athlete guy and ended it as a cagey veteran that mostly just beat you with smarts. Like he just wasn't, like his athleticism had really dwindled by the time he got to Portland. But he was a great leader for that team. And they won a shit ton of games and they damn near made it to the finals. And kind of, I mean, how many years did he play? Let's take a look. Let's get Scottie Pippen up on the Pro Basketball Reference here. Kind of hung around like a little bit longer than you'd expect. And I think if you're a Portland fan, you like Scottie Pippen a lot. Obviously, you probably like him a little bit more if you're a Bulls fan. But so yeah, he just was super raw. Look, it comes in 7.9. Like he's just kind of a question mark. Next thing you know, he turns into one of the best players in the league. I think, you know, he also gets a lot of stick for, you know, having a little tantrum. That one year, or the 1 year that Jordan wasn't there in the playoffs when Phil Jackson called up to play for Tony Kukoc, and he took himself out of the game, and Kukoc hit the shot, and they won. But I think that's really sad because that totally overshadows the fact that he really did immediately turn into the man. You know, he was third in MVP voting the year without Jordan in '94. He was pretty awesome that year. Like he really stepped it up, scoring, rebounding, steals 2.9 in '94. Like he kept getting better at defense. Is what it felt like. That's just a ridiculous amount of steals. I mean, most guys that are like really good perimeter defenders tend to not get that many steals because that's like their thing is that you just put them on like the other team's best player and just try to shut them down. This guy did it all. He also roamed the passing lanes. He's just ridiculous. He's like got to be somewhere in the all-time defensive team. And then the Portland years, 4 of them, solid. I think that was like a couple more than people thought they were getting when they signed Scottie Pippen. And he just kind of like played point guard, played smart defense, helped Portland win games. Wasn't a great scorer at that point in his career. Not very explosive. Because that was his main game, was just flying past guys and just jamming on their face. This guy's ruthless in video games. All right. That's enough Scottie Pippen. And yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys where, did he just ride Jordan's coattails? Well, my take is, a little bit for those titles. Like, I don't know if he would have been awesome as like the number one guy. And we did see it for at least 1 year, so he was pretty damn good. But also, like, Jordan was extremely lucky to have this guy on his team because he was an amazing partner in crime. So, all right, next. Number 36 is another amazing partner in crime. I got him ranked a little bit higher than Pip.
Take this message to my brother. You will find him everywhere. Wherever people live together. Tied in poverty's despair. Are you?
Okay, so I guess the all-time second banana award goes to Kevin McHale, just slightly over Scottie Pippen. I wasn't really thinking about that until just now, but he comes in for me at number 36. Yeah, I mean, your dad knows about this guy. Hopefully the highlight package kind of gives you an idea why he's so good. Did we see one dunk? No, we didn't. Those were few and far between. Very good guest star on Cheers. Case against Kevin McHale is that he got hurt a decent amount, and was kind of like one of the most notorious black holes ever, as far as like if you gave him the ball, he probably wasn't giving it back. Which you'd love it if maybe your power forward would get some other guys involved, or maybe kind of look for some cutters and whatnot. I mean, he was a good passer. That just wasn't his mindset. If he got the ball, he was thinking he was going to score, and he usually did. He usually did. The reason I like his game so much, I feel like nobody got more easy baskets against good defense when a guy is guarding you in the post, and he just fooled him. He got right to the rim, shot little tiny jump hooks, or did the slippery salamander or whatever. He got to the bucket for just a little tiny shot. This is probably the guy whose game least translates to being good at video games. It was just all savvy and skill and footwork and know-how and just sort of knowing how to beat his guy. Anyway, let's take a look at his and obviously it should be noted the Celtics won like a lot when he was there, like a lot. So let's take a look at the highlights here, or the highlights. We just looked at the highlights. Let's look at the stats. All right, so product out of University of Minnesota. He was 4th in Rookie of the Year. Kind of joined a team like they had Cornbread Maxwell, who kind of was on his corner a little bit. They had Larry Bird, who was kind of playing power forward. Jokic is a way better choice. Yes. But kind of just took a while to get going. But look at the field goal percentage. Okay? You knew what he was about. 6th man of the year twice. They were just so stacked. But then, okay, he takes over. Okay, 13th in MVP, 4th in MVP. These field goal percentages are ridiculous. You can't be shooting 60% as a power forward who's not getting any easy. He's generating easy buckets with his footwork. He's not. He maybe ran the floor a little bit and got a few buckets in transition with Larry Bird, sending him perfect passes, and Dennis Johnson. But for the most part, he kind of just went to work on the block. He got a fair amount of offensive rebounds. He was a good rebounder for a power forward. He wasn't an elite athlete, although he did have long arms and he did swat a ton of shots. Look at the blocks. I mean, his athleticism was pretty mid. He didn't have big ups. He wasn't super fast. He just went to work with the variety of post moves that he always picked the right one and got people all flustered, got to the stripe, shot a great free throw percentage. It was just a torture chamber. He's the barbecue chicken. He's the all-timer. It's him or Hakeem Olajuwon is like the best ever at post moves. There were guys that, there was guys like Shaq and Giannis that could just obliterate people by being super athletic. But as far as skill, it's Kevin McHale. And I think this is the most crucial thing in basketball. Like, can you score? Kevin McHale can score. He could score against two guys. We've seen it in the highlights. And he was pretty damn good on defense, too. And if he would have stayed healthy, maybe the 87 finals might have been a little different story. I mean, he was banged up in the playoffs, I believe. And then, same in 88. Just like the Celtics run, they just needed like one more good year out of Kevin McHale. I mean, he's playing, he's doing work. He was just a little banged up, and then kind of started to dissipate. Still doing work in the playoffs. I don't know. It would have been nice if he played a few more games, but I guess he started to play a lot more than Joel Embiid did. All right. Anyway, Kevin McHale's dope. Very hard to explain. Actually, it's really not that hard. You see the field goal percentage, you should get the gist. But his scoring numbers aren't like way up there. There were other players that needed to eat on that team. But when he got the opportunity, he put it in at a very efficient rate. That is number 36, Kevin McHale. Let's go on to number 35, shall we? All right, here's another one. Here's another one of these guys.
Impala, chrome hydraulics, 808 drums. You don't want none, nigga better run. When beef is on, I pop that trunk. Come get some pistol grip pump. If a nigga step on my white Air Ones, it's red rum. Ready, here come Compton, Dre found me in the slums, selling that skunk. One hand on my gun. I was selling rocks and Master P was saying, buck past the blunt. It's G Unit, girls just wanna have fun. Coke and rum, got weed on the tongue. I'm banging with my hand up a dress like, I make it come, purple haze in my lungs. Whole gang in the front, case a nigga wanna stun.
I put Lamborghini doors on that Escalade. Low pro solo, look like I'm riding on blades. In 1 year, man, a nigga so great. I have a straight bitch in the telly going both ways. Touch me, tease me, kiss me, please me. I give it to you.
He used to be on the mat. He's like, this is Laker legend Luka Doncic. Representing Slovenia. This is the highest ranked Slovenian on the list. So if you can just check off the rest of them. They don't make it, sorry. Another new guy in the mix that I am aware that maybe with the nowadays it's a little bit easier to score. We don't know we don't know. Nico, we don't know if the Mavs go on to win multiple championships. That's gonna really hurt. But yeah, unfortunately, this guy does enjoy a Coors Light from time to time. So, how do you spell this guy's name? Oh, with a K? There's probably been more. Yeah, there's a K in there. Let's just fix that. Let's show some respect to the 35th greatest basketball player of all time. I'm gonna fix it. It's important. If you guys like this sausage, just keep bringing up the mistakes. So yeah, my take on this guy is that basically he's just wildly efficient. His skills are elite. He's just, I mean, he's just one of those. He's like James Harden, except a little bit more fun, a little bit better style, a little bit less annoying, and just probably like a little bit more fun to play with. But same basic deal. Just give him the ball, get everybody else out the way, and he's gonna figure out a way to either score or pass it. And by the way, does grab a bunch of rebounds. And I don't know, there's just a flair to Luka. There's just a flair, you know? There's just a little swagger. There's like a little bit of a, he might do something amazing, like he did in the playoffs last year for the Mavs, which apparently they just thought was annoying as fuck. They were like, damn, all those shots he made to get us to the finals, that sucked. The case against Luka, well, does not share LeBron James's maniacal enthusiasm for health and keeping his. Let's just move on with that. But he also has a kind of a weird thing where he loses his cool in like embarrassing ways. Like kind of just he had that when he fouled out against the Celtics in the finals in like the dumbest way possible. Like it seemed like a bit of a self-sabotage, but I don't know. I think he just has like just kind of like spells where it's like, what's going on in your head, brah? But then other times he's like the most locked in athlete ever, like just in like a zen-like state of in the moment, you know? And his shot making is way up there. It's time to look at the stats. There is a chance that maybe there are people that kind of checked out on the NBA to the point where they don't really realize what Luka has done in his somewhat short time. It's longer than you think, though. So yeah, Rookie of the Year, obviously. Second year, age 20. 28.8 points per game? What? At age 20? And he like was doing all kinds of clutch stuff right out of the get-go. 27.7, 28.4. Oh yeah, now he's age 23. He's going for 32.4. He's going for 33.9. This last year, I guess 28.2 sucks with 45%. I guess that was just a disaster. Dallas had to move him. So he was shooting 46.4 for the Mavs. They had to move him. Not a leader. Loser. We got to get Anthony Davis. Defense wins championships. We all know this. We've all watched Luka Doncic play basketball. We know what he's capable of. Everybody knows that is going to be one of the all-time worst trades ever. This guy is a potential best player in the league. I would rather have this guy on my team than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a closer. He's efficient. He's a leader. He works hard. Plays great defense. Luka does more. I think he has a higher ceiling. So maybe it might end disastrously for him. Maybe he just will never get the whole thing about like you gotta, like watch your calories. But my prediction is that it goes really well for him, and he terrorizes the league, especially the Mavericks, for years to come. But this is he can never play a game again. I got him at number 35. I think he's that good. Anyways, I know it's a little bit easier to score nowadays, but damn, look at the scoring that he's been doing since age 19 in the league. Oh yeah, and then also it should be noted, he was really good in Europe as a 16, 17, 18-year-old. He did big things over there. Here's his playoff numbers. Like in the bubble where he absolutely terrorized the Los Angeles Clippers to the tune of 35.7. That was over the 2 series. And then, I mean, yeah, 22. I mean, hell of a run. Was kind of bad against the Celtics, it should be noted. But, hell of a run. Okay, moving on. Number 34. Here's a guy. I tell you, these guys are tough to rank, but let's fucking go. Giving it a shot, folks.
Somebody lift me up there and give me a hand. Give me a ride. I'm sliding up the highway. There's a curve in the road. I don't know where I'm going. Verbalizing my fiend murder, communicating while you debating, using machine squirters. But that triggers my tongue. I licking that full flipper, lifting it, whole click up. The Lord call for your soul. It's time to go pick up. Answer the horn, it's blowing at you. You cold, stiff up. My heat eating my whole hip up. All we do is court strippers. Your metal freezing like it's a morgue zipper. I ride around with Preem, not the Preem from Queens, but the Preem from Twick. About to change the game, about to fly the desert eagle through y'all people like the wings to clip and the barrels to beak. My perilous fleece, I'm adorned in diamonds. I'm a pharaoh deceased like the spawn was rhyming. And I would advise you not to tempt her. New temptations, the gun harmonize.
We got D Wade coming in here at number 34. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Not a sidekick, I guess. Maybe one time he was sidekick. Oh, we're talking about the sidekick rankings. Who's going to end up the number 1 sidekick? But nah, he was the man for years in Miami. The man at Marquette. That was a hell of a run in the NCAAs. I believe that was the year 2003 that he led Marquette to the Final Four, and then for some reason was only like the 5th or 6th pick in the draft. Sucks that information is not available. And then led them to the playoffs year 1. You know, he wasn't like he wasn't like amazing year 1, but he was good enough that they gave him the rock to go win a playoff series versus the Hornets year 1. Kind of ascended to greatness pretty much immediately, and Shaq got dealt to the Heat, and they won the title in his 3rd year. Big comeback. Mavs up 2-0. D Wade went pretty much nuclear in that NBA Finals. Of course, a lot of people, he kind of went a little foul merchant on that one, to the chagrin of a lot of people. That was a little tough to watch. That was really towards the end of the refs are kind of making the playoffs not fun era. But he was outstanding, and he did a lot. He obviously was the biggest factor why they won the title in 2006. There was a fallow period for the Heat. He got hurt a decent amount. He was still excellent. And then he was 3rd in MVP voting. Let's take a look at the Pro Basketball Reference as we tell the story. You guys can follow along since I'm just looking at this here. 3rd in MVP voting, 2009. Going for 30 points per game. His game, he had a pretty good jumper. Not a great 3-point shooter. Obviously, ridiculously athletic. Great handle. Lots of assists from the 2-guard spot. Tons of assists, in fact. Tons of steals. Tons of blocks for a 6'5", 6'4", 220 shooting guard. So he was very physical. He was a very ridiculous combination of physicality and quickness. And then his defense was outstanding. And his blocks, I'm actually surprised he only had this many blocks. It seemed like he was always getting blocks. Always getting blocks. He might be like the greatest two guard at blocks ever. Just had a knack for making crazy plays in clutch moments. It's insane to me that he has thrice blocked somebody's buzzer beater and then put up a darn near full court shot and made it at the as a buzzer beater himself. That happened 3 times, apparently. That's insane. And then was still extremely good when LeBron came over. It was kind of borderline who was like the best player the first year when they didn't win the title. And then D-Wade was like, all right, LeBron, you're the guy. And his point totals went down a little bit. And they won 2 titles. And then kind of just, for whatever reason, was okay. And then went to Chicago, was okay. Went to Cleveland, was terrible. Might have been some injuries that were in the mix there. And then he had one really nice last year at age 37 for the Heat. Just a really nice year. It was kind of like, it was one of those deals where everybody knew it was his last year. So they were, giving him the treatment. And he performed. That was a nice last year. As far as those go, he had one of the better ones. Most of the time it ends sadly, like Dominique Wilkins playing 39 games for the Magic, or Patrick Ewing playing 39 games for the Magic, or Mark Price playing 50 games for the Magic. But I don't know. I think D-Wade was I like his energy. Like, he was the guy that if he was on your team, good things were going to happen. He was going to make good things happen, but also just his competitiveness, his general demeanor brought up the level of the teams that he was on, in my opinion. So I think that this is one of those guys where it's like, he certainly had some good situations, but I don't think it was an accident that winning occurred. Like, I think that he lifted those teams. The criticism was that he was a 2 guard that couldn't shoot threes. That would be the main criticism against D-Wade. Because especially towards the end of his career, when that really was important to have, like, if you're playing shooting guard in today's NBA and you can't shoot threes, you don't exist. Basically, you're just not a person that exists in the NBA, pretty much. So that would be the criticism against D-Wade. And he did get hurt a lot, but he was kind of like Allen Iverson. He kind of crashed into the paint a lot and got crushed a lot. He played with a lot of heart, man. This was a tough one to rank because I feel like he is better than his stats, is my take, and his stats are maybe better than you remember. It was fun. It was fun watching his career. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of D-Wade. I would say his good personality for the most part. He was maybe just a little bit too on TV would be maybe another criticism. And also those Heat teams were kind of like villains, but mostly I'm a fan of D-Wade. That's number 34. We got a few more for you. Here's a big one coming up here. I wonder if Pete or Sherm or any of my peoples are watching from the Rose City. Here we go.
dress myself in green. Lord, I went under the sea.
Yeah. All right, so the sounds of Grateful Dead. Bill Walton, known Deadhead. Yeah, no Rick Perry yet. Boy, that must have been a hell of a job, Chris. Okay, so we got Big Bill Walton, man. This is a very Embiid-esque ranking here. What did he accomplish in the NBA? Not nearly as much as a lot of people, but my rankings are more based on when you were on the court, what did you do? And Bill Walton was, some people say, basically just like a proto Bill Russell. Elite defensive player, elite passer, elite knowledge of all things happening on the court at all times. Moved his feet really well for a huge guy, you know. Had an array of post moves, could shoot. Some people's this guy might have been, he was the centerpiece of a lot of people's that just like pure basketball. Like those few seasons of Bliss in Portland, the way they played was, you know, a lot of people think it was like the most beautiful basketball that was ever played. The way they moved the ball around, the way they got people involved, the way they could do a little bit of everything. But Bill Walton was the best player on that team. Same thing in UCLA. Team basketball. Bill Walton was arguably better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They both won nearly every game. They just absolutely dominated. His college career is outstanding. So yeah, so then obviously the case against Bill Walton, this dude had some of the worst injuries ever. In his career, he missed more games than he played. He missed 3 entire seasons. Tough. And that's no fun. That's no fun. Especially if you are a San Diego Clipper fan and you bring in back your hometown guy and you're hoping that this is the moment that the San Diego Clippers become a relevant franchise. And it does not happen because you have spent all your money on Bill Walton and he only played... he played 97 games for the Clippers in 5 seasons. 5 seasons, 97 games. Oh wait, that's for the San Diego Clippers. Then they moved to LA, and he played a whopping 67 games in that one season as an LA Clipper, 84-85. Pretty easy to make the case that he should be way, way lower. The reason I got him this high, number 1, I just like his game. Number 2, I just like him. Number 3, I value college, and it's pretty impressive. He might have one of the most impressive, like, best player, you know, like, impressive championships, just like leading a team. Like, obviously Portland Trailblazers had a lot of good players, but I don't know, man. He didn't have anybody like Scottie Pippen when he led the Blazers to the championship in 1977. He's right there with, like, you know, like guys like 2006 Dwayne Wade. I don't know, like, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but like most, like, this guy was responsible for that team winning the title. He's pretty high up there on that list. So let's take a look. Let's look at the Pro Basketball Reference so you can see this debacle of injury situation here. Comes in the league and was pretty good, and then starting to get a little better. Not a ton of scoring. 18.6, 18.9. But it was just more important to get everybody else involved. He's throwing up crazy assist numbers here for center. And grabbing hella boards, blocking hella shots, shooting a nice clip, and, just erasure of the late 70s, early 80s. And then, of course, should be mentioned that Dirk, that's a good call, Chris. It should be mentioned that he was awesome as the sixth man of the year, in fact, for the 1986 Celtics. So that's like the greatest wild card, like X Factor guy that any team has ever had, probably. Like the Celtics bringing Bill Walton off the bench, who was still extremely good, even though he just sort of just miraculous. That was like his one season he got to do after the dream run, 77-78. He got hurt in 78. He still won the MVP in 78, playing 58 games. Got hurt. That was it for him and the Blazers. And then he never had a legit season until 1986. The Celtics acquired him, took a chance on him. He brought it, and they won the championship. And they not only won the championship, but they had one of the most dominant teams ever. And then, very next season, back to his old bullshit. 10 games played. So, and then that was it. Let's take a look at his playoff stats here. Finals MVP, 18 points, 19 games played, 18 points per game, 15 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists, 3.4 blocks. And then I was kind of curious about the per 36, just to show you how effective he was for the Celtics. Is kind of interesting to me. Because he didn't play that many minutes, but yeah, 14 points per game, 12.7 boards per game, 2.5 blocks per game, 56% shooting. This is per 36 minutes. And then, yeah, Portland was pretty stacked. He didn't even need to play that many minutes for them. He's playing less than 36 minutes per game. So, yeah, I just think he was the team player. He won multiple titles with the Bruins in college. And of course, there's the famous thing, Jack Ramsey, after the coach of the Blazers when they won the title, he told the press that he's never coached a better player, he's never been around a better person than Bill Walton. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he was just beloved as a guy, as a guy that you could know in your life. And I miss him a lot. He was really, really fun on TV. Coming full circle from kind of just being sort of annoying in the 90s when he was on NBC all the time, and then just kind of adopted this persona, and he was just a teacher. He would just teach you about life. He was great. Yeah, he just went in a different direction and it totally worked. It was great. All right, we got a couple more for you tonight. We're going to get all the way to number 31 so that we can do the top 30, break it up into 2 shows the rest of the way. Let's do a guy who was really good at getting the biscuit in the basket.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
All right, coming in at number 32, we got the Iceman. Another one that's in the top tier nicknames. It's just Ice, baby. It's George Gervin. So here's the dude that basically had one skill, and that was you give him the ball, he's just gonna score. He's gonna score. And probably if he had been playing in the he did say that, did he? If he had played in the three-point era, that would have been very helpful towards his cause, but instead, he just somehow just squirmed his little 180-pound frame. Let me get the exact measurements on George Gervin. So I'm going to say 6'8", 180. No, 6'7", 180, says Pro Basketball Reference. He just kind of squirmed in there and just kind of got fancy as far as tossing stuff up off the glass and in the bucket. And if you gave him a little space, he'd pop the J in your eye. Played in the ABA for the Virginia Squires, where he was Dr. J's right-hand man. That would have been fun to watch that team play. And then they dealt him to the Spurs, where he started taking over. And then by the time he got into the NBA era, he had really developed into this ruthless scoring machine. Let's take a look at his Pro Basketball Reference. So as you can see, age 20. So this was a case of a guy joining the ABA because they didn't make dudes go to college, or they didn't make you wait. He's like, I'm going to the ABA, I'm going to get paid right now. I'm tired of living in Eastern Michigan, going to Eastern Michigan College. Got to be the best guy from Eastern Michigan. And then all of a sudden now we're going into 77, 78, and our guy George Gervin is taking over. 27 points per game, shooting 53.6%. Shoots 54% the next year at 29.7. 33 points per game at a 52.8 clip. Then has one more monster season, 32 points per game at 50%, and he's not getting to the line. He's doing all right. He's getting to the line a decent amount, shooting a good percentage, but a lot of just field goals made. You know, distributed a little bit. Got, you know, he was all right. Steals. He got steals and blocks. Pretty good. They said he was not that great on defense, or at least one take said he was just alright on defense. But he's getting tons of steals and blocks, so he's doing some shit over there. Then kind of somewhat. It's kind of funny he ended his career as Jordan's sidekick. That could have been fun if he had maybe had just a little bit more gas in the tank. Imagine if they had George Gervin and Jordan and Pippen on the same team. That would have been kind of fun. But man, he played. This dude did not miss games. This guy's at 180 pounds. This guy's the anti-Joel Embiid, the anti-Bill Walton. This guy never missed a game. He played 84 games in 1 year. How did he do that? That's impressive. And the Spurs never got to the mountaintop, but they were consistently good. So look at, he makes the playoffs like every year here. And, oh, by the way, does not shy away from the moment as far as you could not lock him down. Playoff basketball. Now we're gonna get the scouting report and shut down the Iceman. No, he's still gonna get his. He led all playoff scorers 6 times. And he's at the centerpiece of one of my favorite random tales in basketball history, which is probably the 77-78 season, where it comes down to the last game, and my guy David Thompson has a chance at the scoring title. And so it's down to David Thompson and George Gervin. And Denver plays earlier in the day. And David Thompson goes for the scoring title. He had 35 points in the first quarter, or maybe it was the second quarter, but it was a record for most points ever in a quarter. Ends the game with 70-some points, which is, at that time, the highest ever total that anybody had ever scored that was not named Wilt Chamberlain. And then he is all excited, thinking that he might be a scoring title. He turns on the radio to listen to the Spurs versus Jazz game. And Gervin starts off a little cold. I guess he missed like his first 8 shots or something like that. And then, second quarter, gets a little bit hot. As George Gervin described it in a video, he said he was on a song. Ends up going 23 for 49 from the field, 17 for 20 from the stripe, good for 63 points, and takes the scoring title. Filthy. That's what it's all about. That just shows you what these guys could do, but they were team players. George Gervin, all-time great scorer. And that is what's really up. As far as my list, that's the most important thing on my list, I think, is if you could score. It's nice if you could play some defense, get some rebounds and win, but Bill Walton was not a great scorer, but he did have some moves. Okay, one more for you guys, and then we're going to close it down for the night. Thanks for checking out part 5 of the Hoops 100. That was a really easy song choice also. All right. What am I doing here?
Listen, first the fat boys break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with hope. What's up, y'all niggas all fed up cause I got a little cheddar and my record's moving out the store? Young fucks spitting at me, young rappers getting at me. My nigga Big predicted this shit exactly. More money, more problems, gotta move carefully. Cause faggots hate when you getting money like athletes. Youngins ice grilling me, oh, you not feeling me? Fine, it costs you nothing, pay me no mind. Look, I'm on my grind, cousin, ain't got time for frontin'. Sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs. Damn, little mans, I'm just trying to do me. If the record's 2 mil, I'm just trying to move 3. Get a couple chicks, get them to try to do E. Hopefully they're Menage before I reach my garage. I don't want much, fuck, I drove every car. Some nice cooked food, some nice clean drawers. Bird ass niggas, I don't mean to ruffle y'all. I know you waiting in the wing, but I'm doing my thing. Where's the love? I said, where's the love? In the heart of time. Yeah. And then the Fuji's gon' break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody got something to say. What's all the fucking fussing for? Because I'm grubbing more? And I pack heat like I'm the oven door. Niggas pray and pray on my downfall. But every time I hit the ground, I bounce up like round ball. Now I don't wanna have to kill sound ball. Don't wanna have to cock back the 4-pound ball. Look, strap, I got nephews to look at.
All right, coming in, finishing out tonight is Zeke, Isaiah Thomas, coming in number 31 on the all-time list. We've seen one of his great performances to start tonight's stream. One of the, I'll put it up there with one of the greatest performances ever in any one game. He had a bunch of those. Now, of course, it seems like nowadays when it comes to Isaiah Thomas, there's always some sort of controversy. There's always some kind of, there's always the rivalry with MJ and just the war of words. And then there's just all the weird stuff that's happened in his career as far as like not exactly doing awesome with the Knicks. And just always seeming to, he always seems to open his mouth and say something that just is not the right time to say it, or makes you wonder what the hell he's thinking. But this is Isaiah Thomas. This is maybe the Dream Team stuff. I mean, this all is just controversy. Then there's just the whole controversy of the Bad Boys and the way they went about their business. But Yeah, this is like possibly, quite possibly by Swaggerty Sausage, this might be the best little guy ever. I think he's in the discussion for like pound for pound best basketball player. 6 foot tall, little. I mean, just looking like skinny, looking like a cherub. You know, he always had that smile that made you think he's just a, he's just a little guy. You don't need to worry about this guy. It's just Zeke, man. He's just the baby-faced assassin. Wow, I didn't remember he had that in there. He's 6'1", 180 pounds. Ridiculous. When he came in the league, it was like, well, first of all, he won the title with Indiana, playing for Bobby Knight. So he's from the streets of Chicago, where, must have been some pretty hardcore basketball being played on them streets. And then he played for Bobby Knight in Indiana. That must have not been easy. All the while, he develops this reputation for being like this guy who's going to put his body on the line, even though he's only 180 pounds. Probably was way skinnier in college. And then comes in the league and was a pretty dynamic scorer. Second year, age 21, goes for 22 points. Let's take a look at this Pro Basketball Reference. Get you guys in on this. Then, starts kind of really distributing a lot. His assist numbers here in this 1985 season in particular are kind of wild. Now I don't remember who their coach was, but it was more of a push the pace style. And then when Chuck Daly comes in, they're a little different style, but really even in the Bad Boys heyday, when they're maybe trying to slow it down a little bit for that era was very fast. So whatever, that's talking about Isaiah Thomas here. So he kind of sacrificed his game a little bit, is sort of the way the story goes, with trying to get the very deep Bad Boys Pistons involved. But I don't know, look at these stats, they're kind of better than I expected as the point guard. Still scoring a lot. And then has some injuries. He's done at age 32, maybe a little bit earlier than would have been nice, but this dude was in a lot of battles. I'm sure he felt like he had played plenty of basketball. The Pistons were good the whole time, and really good, really good in this mid-range era from 87 to 91. He basically is making the playoffs. Age 22 on, doing crazy work. He had some really historically amazing performances for some of these Humpy Pistons teams, like the 85 Pistons. I'm trying to remember which one of these they went up against Bernard King. That was an epic duel. Isaiah had some really crazy playoff performances. You saw the game winner, I believe that was versus Atlanta. I think that was a playoff game, and then there was some other game where he went on some crazy scoring rampage. And then in a loss, the 88 finals, he has that crazy twists his ankle, goes off for 25 points in the third quarter, game 6, trying to win the title. Finals MVP 1990 versus Portland. That was a team effort, but he was the leader of the team. The whole Bad Boys thing, they said that Isaiah was the guy who was like, this is how the way it's gonna be. He was like, we're gonna battle these guys. We're gonna go to war every night. It came from him. He was hated on for it. And of course, they gave Jordan the snub after they lost in the 91 playoffs. They beat the shit out of Jordan. People thought that kind of sucked because they kind of wanted to see MJ get to the finals. But no, it was the Pistons. They came up with the Jordan rules, beat the shit out of him. He came back stronger because of it. So there was a lot of hateration for Isaiah. But that shit was effective, man. I mean, you just understand where he's coming from. It's like, first he's from the streets of Chicago. Jordan's on his corner, by the way. He's like Mr. Chicago. But it used to be Isaiah. Isaiah was like the hero of Chicago until that point. And then, just playing for the Pistons Like, you know, you got the Celtics and the Lakers. And, you know, it just was, you had to fight tooth and nail for those titles. Like, you had to go into this extra gear, this mentality. And personally, at the time, I hated the Pistons, especially when they beat the Blazers in the 1990 finals. And, you know, that was a lot of people talking about that, and I was like, yeah, man, screw those guys. And then, yeah, screw those bad sports. You know, I was so happy that Jordan finally knocked them out in 91. But looking back, man, I totally look back on that era with, like, major, you know, I miss that era. I miss when teams didn't like each other. I miss when teams were willing to fight for the title, you know, fight for their spot, fight for, you know, fight for regular season games, fight for, you know, to be the king of the hill in the 80s when it was MJ, Magic, Larry Bird, Isaiah. I think anybody would have told you that Isaiah was like the 4th best player in that era, which was a totally stacked era for superstars. You know, that's, I just miss it. Everybody's homie nowadays. It's cool. Like, there's really no reason for it not to be that way. Everybody's making millions. Back then, it wasn't as lucrative of a deal, and they didn't hang out with each other in the off season. They basically just hung around their team, and it was like a gang. It was the Pistons went to battle every game. It was like that around the league, but the Pistons took it to another level, and they just intimidated people, and they were really good. And I got respect for Isaiah Thomas for that whole thing. I missed that era. This guy was the ultimate warrior, standing at 6'1", 180 pounds. And oh, and by the way, his handles were ridiculous. He could just blow by dudes. Great player. He's just on the outside looking in the top 30. But I think you guys will be here for the top 30. I don't think I have any more like wild swings. Hope you guys were here for the Joel Embiid and Luka Doncic picks. I think you guys kind of didn't really have much beef with Luka Doncic, but yeah, looking back, I do think that if, you know, when you know that term where they talk about the best ability is availability, there's some truth to that. I guess my whole thing is I'm just like thinking like, if people should, if all these, my biggest thing is like, if every single one of these guys was at their prime, and you were picking them, and you had to go win a game, you know, or who was going to perform the best in those scenarios, like who's going to get picked first, you know, if you're trying to win a game. That's kind of the main thing. I feel like if you got a prime Bill Walton out there, you're gonna want that dude on your team. If you got prime Joel Embiid out there, you're gonna want that dude on your team. Like what? You know, you're just gonna. I think you're gonna roll the dice that he's not gonna disintegrate on the court. I mean, it'd be nice to have, you know, dudes that played every game, but also there's a style component that comes into play pretty big. I didn't go over my 3 S's to start this stream, but this was one of those nights where sometimes, you know, you do a little bit more parenting than Pro Basketball Reference peering and whatnot, and getting all your graphics together. But thanks for checking out the stream. I stand by the list. I think the list is looking pretty nice overall. I think it's looking real nice, and I'm looking at the top 30, and I'm excited to get into it with the greatest of all time. So most likely there's gonna be 2 streams left first, I don't know, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna go 15 next time? There's a pretty clear demarcation between 15 and 16, so we'll probably save the top 15 for the last one and do 30 through 16 next time, which has some really good players. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if you guys are doing the math and figure out who's left here. I don't know how many. I don't know if there's anybody that's really a surprise, although a couple are maybe a little more surprising for some. Coolness. Yeah. All right, so Zeke comes in at number 31. He was really good. Just a fun era, man. The late 80s, when I first became basketball, to have superstars like Isaiah Thomas in the mix that was a good time. Pretty easy to become a basketball fan if your first sort of intro is like the 88, 89, 90 type seasons, man. There was a lot of good basketball players running around. Fredette is still out there. Is your favorite still out there? I think we're going to go after, I think the next stream we're going to lead off by saying we're going over some of the honorable mentions for the top 100. Okie dokie.
Ain't no love in the heart of town. Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love in the heart of town. Ain't no love.
All right, thanks again for watching. Part 6 and 7 to wrap this up. Coming to a stream near you. Keep it posted. Peace for now.